reliability. I think Ross is saying utilization.
Gordon, we're about to break our records in production and delivery. We're looking at 500,000 cars.
Oh, you are in for a treat today. Even the TV host laughed at Gordon Johnson for making ridiculous comments. Let's take a look.
What's in store for Tesla and Elon this year as the spike in the stock continues? We have a bull-bear debate. Joining me now, our bear, GLJ Research CEO Gordon Johnson and Gerber Kawasaki CEO and well-known Tesla shareholder and bull owning 440,000 Tesla shares, Ross Gerber. Gordon, the stock has been a total winner year to date. I mean, well, actually, since it hit that low on January 6th. What is your case against Tesla at the moment?
Yeah, so the case against Tesla is simple. There's a couple of key things. Number one, Tesla no longer has a real-world range advantage based on Edmunds testing.
Here's the data that actually matters about Farzad put together. You can see models here, the battery version, and then the range in miles, and then how fast the vehicle is. You can see the Volkswagen ID4 has little range, only is rear-wheel drive, and is slow compared to the Model Y. And then you can see the price. Is it eligible for the US tax credit, and then the net price after the credit, and then how much you pay for every mile in dollars. As you can see, Volkswagen ID4 is number one in terms of how cheap it is. But the Model Y is super close to it, and it is actually a whole lot faster. It's also going to be a whole lot safer, not only because it has all-wheel drive, but also because it is literally the safest vehicle ever tested. Only other Teslas might be safer. So when we measure range in terms of cost, we can see that Tesla clearly is number one if we assume that it is important to compare vehicles that are similar to each other, not a super cheap economy car compared to a Tesla, which is a relatively fast sports car.
Number two, they no longer have a charging advantage. The Hyundai Ioniq has a 800-volt battery, charges quicker than Tesla. A lot of other cars do.
Okay, well, let's do a real-world test. As you can see, the Model 3 has 10%, and the Ioniq has 10% as well. And now they are charging. And, oh, look at this. Tesla is actually charging a little bit faster. This continues up until about 50%. Tesla just knows how to condition the batteries a little bit better before starting to charge. And then after a certain point, the Ioniq does take over, but it's not significant. You won't really notice much of a difference. And the most important part is when you charge up until 50%, because that's when charging is much faster anyway, and after that it slows down for all vehicles. So if you are in a hurry, you will want to continue with your road trip when the car reaches somewhere between 50 to 80%.
Number three, they rank last in autonomous driving, and in fact Mercedes now has level 3 ADAS on the road now where they take legal liability. Tesla does not.
The system that Gordon Johnson speaks of can, on suitable freeway sections, which are almost non-existent, where there is high traffic density, according to the company, take over the bumper-to-bumper crawling duties and only up to 40 miles an hour. No one drives at such a low speed on freeways. You go really fast on freeways. So bumper-to-bumper traffic, and only in some portions. We all know Tesla could already do it if it really wanted to, but there's no point in taking responsibility yet. And also, you have to stay behind a car 100 meters behind, so 300 feet, otherwise it won't work. And also, it sort of disengages itself a lot, even under testing conditions. So in real world, this is not going to be very useful at all. I made a whole video about it. You may watch it if you like.
Number four, their 4680 battery. Remember the last time we had this debate with Ross, he said that their batteries are the best thing since Edison's light bulb. None of the promises they made at Battery Day they've achieved, and their nominal density is actually worse than Panasonic's current generation 2170 battery. So their batteries are actually worse than current generation batteries.
Because it is the first iteration. The previous technology already had multiple iterations, so naturally it has higher density. Also, the 4680 batteries are built to be put into a structural battery pack, meaning the battery itself is the structure of a car. So, of course, it will have lower density. But when you take the whole car into consideration, there is a clear path to increasing that energy density. And the main purpose of a 4680 battery cell is to be as cheap as possible and to be produced at super high volume. And yes, I have a video on that as well. And when you look at the apples to apples comparison, the 4680 battery is actually going to be better, clearly.
So the point is, you have a company that we believe is going to see earnings decline roughly 25% this year, and I could run you through that math. So you have declining earnings, you have market share collapsing in China, the U.S., and Europe, and you have lead times that are extending despite big price cuts. So I think they have problems.
The market share is absolutely irrelevant. What matters is the actual yearly deliveries that are clearly growing and will continue to grow.
Ross, let me just bring up the scarcity premium issue. I do believe Gordon is either right or just about to definitely be right on that. You have a lot of companies coming out. Hyundai's coming out with the Ioniq, which hopefully is going to have a better price point than the Model Y. I drive a Tesla, and I'm looking for something a little bit better. What are you saying is the upside potential here? What's going to drive it for Tesla?
Well, I mean, first of all, the Ioniq is not even comparable to a Tesla Model Y. It's kind of a cheap car, and it looks like a cheap car and inside and out, and the technology's antiquated. There are competitors that are starting to, come out, but as we've seen, most of them still have years before they can scale, with Ford now halting production of the Lightning because of issues that they're having scaling production. So Tesla still has a several-year advantage in the scale and output of cars, which no other EV player is close. So if you want to buy an EV, Tesla is the way. Their battery technology is superior. They have ramped 4680, and we're now seeing them in cars coming out of Austin, and the price points are coming down and the costs are coming down. But the bottom line is Tesla still is the only game in the EV town, and now that they've shown that they can sell cars at a lower price, they're raising prices because demand is so heavy.
Well,
so Tesla's still in early innings of their growth story.
To that point, Gordon, there is something very disruptive about Tesla and the way they run their business.
Credit to the host for pointing out the strength that Tesla clearly has, which Gordon never really does at all. Just like Gordon never mentions his tipranks.com ranking.
He can change prices on a dime, and that enrages some people who buy them at the higher price, and then 2 weeks later he gets a bad data point and he lowers the price. But what is the negative of that beyond what I've just articulated?
Yeah. I got to pin Ross a bit here. He talks some platitudes and vagaries, and you got to be specific. We can't just keep allowing these platitudes and vagaries.
Oh, but it is okay to cherry pick your facts like Gordon just did by saying Tesla has no real world range advantage, because it is like the cheapest range that you can buy when you compare everything apples to apples. And just like you compare the 4680 battery apples to apples, it is actually higher energy density. It is okay to do that, Gordon?
Listen, Tesla is not, they don't have any competitive advantage.
Gordon, you just said the Mercedes has full self-driving, and it doesn't.
Yeah, they just reported weekly sales in China. Their weekly sales in China were roughly 6.7 thousand cars. That's just 38% of their capacity in China, despite massive price cuts.
When you look at short-term performance, you can find something wrong in everything. But when you look at longer-term picture, you will see that this quarter so far, these are China deliveries in China, basically, we are doing quite fine compared to the last quarter. And when we compare that to the quarter before then, we are doing very well. And also, you cannot sell vehicles that you have not produced. So, yeah, there was a Chinese New Year in January, and the factory was not open during that time. So this performance is actually really good. Because here, the factory, I don't think it was shut down. Here, it was shut down for a good part of a quarter.
Their run rate demand in Q4 was about 1.75 million cars annually. That's half of their capacity, despite the fact they're only running their plants at 20% utilization.
Gordon, we're about to break our records in production and delivery. We're looking at 500,000 cars in Q1.
Okay, hold on.
Ross, let me finish.
Demand is collapsing, is disappearing. That is exactly why the backlog has just came back. This is for the US Model Y. Yeah. Also, Tesla is based out of US and it sells vehicles in China, in a country that is hostile to the US. How many vehicles does BYD sell in the US? That would be an apples to apples comparison. And here's net profit per vehicle based on Q4. You can see Tesla is at the top here. And BYD, where is BYD? You can't really see BYD because it's pretty low. BYD has to increase prices, otherwise they will lose money. Tesla, on the other hand, has an ability to keep lowering prices further.
BYD sells 4.5 times more cars than them in China. BYD is increasing prices in China. VW is increasing prices in China. Tesla's cutting prices and not selling out their capacity.
Well,
that is the definition, the quintessential definition.
They've always exported cars from China.
Okay, Ross, you are actually, I mean, while you are a big Tesla bull, and I've known you a long time, and you have been, you also feel that it's necessary to announce this week to the company that you would like to run for a board seat, correct? What is your dissatisfaction?
Well, it's not about dissatisfaction. It's about helping Tesla go to the next level with a skill set that I have that I think Tesla needs and is necessary. And a board seat would be a way to implement these strategies.
Is it just me, or Gordon looks happy that Ross is running for the board? I
mean, there's no question with all the fake news and the FUD that people like Gordon put out every day that Tesla needs PR and marketing so that the real story's told. I mean, Mercedes doesn't have a full self-driving solution, and it says it very clearly. You have to drive the car 30 miles per hour. Okay. Secondly, Gordon, I think Tesla has millions of new customers, and they really need to focus on the experience for customers. And I'd love to see a service and customer satisfaction czar take over at Tesla.
I would agree with that. Let me let Gordon.
And lastly, I'd like to see some succession planning, because Elon Musk is a human being, and as Tesla moves into the next level, it should be very clear what path Tesla would take if, God forbid, anything happened to Elon.
Elon has already identified a potential successor, so we don't need to do it. We just don't know about it, and we don't really how to know, but the board knows who that person is.
Okay, Gordon, so would you vote for Ross if you had the opportunity? Do you think Ross would make a good candidate for the board?
Oh no, if he says yes, that means he thinks Tesla stock will go down if Ross is elected.
I think Ross would be excellent.
I like how he says it. You are absolutely excellent. Yeah, there's no reason why I'm shaking my head like this. That's not because I don't think you would be excellent. Definitely no. So, yeah.
Look, Ross has never disagreed with Elon Musk.
Really? Ross Gerber never disagrees with Elon Musk? Elon Musk is not suited to run Twitter. In what ridiculous world does that not count as disagreeing with Elon? And one of the main reasons why Ross wants to be on the board of Tesla is because he wants Tesla to advertise and to have a PR department, which Elon does not want to do. What do you mean Ross does not disagree with Elon? He does it all the time.
He's literally a cult member. He's saying things in this interview that aren't true. He's saying Mercedes doesn't have level 3.
How am I a cult member, Gordon?
Liability. I think
even the host clearly understands that is a ridiculous statement from Gordon.
Ross speaks in vagaries and platitudes. I think he would agree with whatever Elon Musk made. I think he'd make a perfect board member.
Okay, quick, Ross, really quick, because Gordon started, you can end really quick.
Vagary and platitudes, I've decided.
Okay, Ross, do us a favor. Let us know what response you get from the company. And Gordon, we will continue to look at your research. But again, the stock is on a power trip, at least today. It is now pretty much hitting session highs. Good to see you both. Thank you for joining us.
Hopefully we'll hit a Gordon today. Hopefully we'll be up $20.
Yeah, Tesla stock went up $14.50 today in one day, which is more than half the size of Gordon Johnson's total actual Tesla stock price target. This is the Tesla stock buying opportunity explained by Elon Musk. My name is Matt Post. Just like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.